What's up, guys? Stacy here from Becoming Financially Fit, and today we're going to be talking about 5 tips for your 2020 tax return. Let's get into it. Before we get into the content, if this is your first time on the channel, I make videos about personal finance, financial literacy, savings, investing, and I also try to throw some entrepreneurship in there as well. So if you like what you see, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit the bell to be updated anytime I post new content. Okay, so the reason I'm making this video today is because I recently got an email saying that, hey, your W-2 is ready to go. So that means it's tax season. So around this time every year, I start to plan out what I'm going to do with my tax refund. So I thought it would be a great idea to give you guys some insights into 5 different tips for the 2020 tax refund and what some of my personal plans are for my tax refund. So without further ado, let's get into tip number 1. So the first tip for your 2020 tax refund would be to take a holistic look at your financial picture. Do you have any type of an emergency fund set up? If not, I would definitely look into putting that into your plan once we start talking about the other tips on how you can actually utilize your 2020 tax refund. The second thing would be, do you have any debt that's outstanding? Because this is going to be a huge burden on you if you don't pay it. So it's always good to know exactly where you stand as far as debt payment. And the next thing when you're taking a look at your whole financial picture would be to look at your expenses. Do you have anything that's coming up on the horizon? Maybe you have a new home coming up or maybe some emergencies down the road. Just make sure you have a holistic look at is your current expense planning, set right for what's coming ahead in the next, let's say, 1 to 3 months. Now, let's get into tip number 2. Save 10% at a minimum, 10% of your entire refund. And I really got this tip from the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. I would highly suggest you guys read that book. And it talks about, when you actually get any type of money coming in, what you need to do is you need to budget that. And 10% of that goes to either savings or investing, 20% goes to debt repayment, and the rest of that 70% you can budget out for yourself. But I would definitely say, tip number 2, save or invest at least, at a minimum, 10% of your total 2020 refund. Let's get into tip number 3. For that 20% that you set aside for your debts, use that for your debt repayments. So whether that be credit cards, student loans, or personal loans, a car payment, any type of outstanding debt, take a look at it and see, 1, are you behind? If so, you can use that tax refund, that 20% to catch up. 2, you maybe want to accelerate some of those payments to pay the things off faster. Let's say you have a student loan, maybe you can put some extra money towards it, or a mortgage, put some extra money towards it to lower that burden that you have, and you can kind of build yourself a cushion. Or let's say you have some credit cards. I would definitely say if you have high interest credit cards, use that 20% to go ahead and pay down some of that principal, because it's only going to help you save on interest payments in the long run. So let's get into tip number 4. This is probably going to be one of the hardest things that you guys will see me recommend. And tip number 4 is wait at least, at a minimum, 30 days before you spend any of that leftover 70% of your tax refund. And what this is going to do is going to allow you to set aside 30 days, a couple of weeks, to start planning exactly what you need or what you want to do with that leftover money. This is going to be a good time to maybe pick out some things that you had on your list that you either want to purchase, and making sure that those are the right purchases for you. How do you want to use that money? And so this might be looking at some things for yourself personally, or making a plan out for the next 2 to 3 months for your budget. But definitely I would say try not to spend $1 of that 2020 tax refund for the first 30 days. And you guys would be surprised how much you really don't need something if you just save that money and set it aside for 30 days and see what you actually need to budget for. So if you guys are liking the content so far, make sure you give this video a like, but let's get into tip number 5. Tip number 5 is often overlooked, but in my opinion, it's one of the most important things, and that's to treat yourself. Over the course of the entire year, you've been working hard, and those taxes are leftover money that you actually paid upfront to the government that you're getting back. So it's actually your money. So you shouldn't take this as any type of, let's say, present, because it's your money. You're just getting it back at the end of the year or the beginning of the new year. So I would say is treat yourself, and whether that be in the form of, let's say, a trip, a small trip, investing in one of your hobbies or one of your side, hustles or passions, or just investing in a book or a course. Anything that can actually help build yourself is going to pay the best dividends. One of my goals in something for 2020 that I set for myself is to invest more in myself, because that pays the best dividends in my opinion. So I would definitely say tip number five, one of the most important things: buy something for yourself. And try to make it either something that's going to either better yourself or an experience, because that's going to last a lot longer than something that's material. So bonus tip for you guys: if you have that extra money and you really don't know what to do with it, or you don't need to do anything with it at the moment, look into an IRA or some type of retirement plan where you can actually put your money aside, and you can actually get some type of benefit for it. You can just let it sit there, invest over and over. You can get the tax benefits year over year, which is really good to look into. Or let's say if you don't have an emergency fund set up and you need some buffer, let's say a cushion for 1 to 3 months, definitely put it into a high yield savings account. There's so many right now. I think Marcus actually from Goldman Sachs just came out with an app for their high yield savings account. So look into something like that. There's Ally Bank, there's Robinhood Cash Management, any of those different things. If you need to have some type of an emergency fund, those are some great alternatives for high yield savings accounts. But that was my 5 tips for your 2020 tax refund. So if you guys like the content, make sure you give this video a like. And if you want to see more videos about personal finance, financial literacy, savings, investing, or entrepreneurship, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the bell to be updated anytime I post new content. See you guys soon.